I was in the same situation or a similar situation. When I was young, I had a teacher, her name was Mrs. Noble, and she told me that I wasn't smart. And I actually told her, hey, I want to go and become a doctor or a physical therapist. And she said, she literally laughed and she said, you'll never do that with your GPA. And my GPA was terrible when I was in sixth grade, whatever I was. But that really stuck with me. And I literally thought for a long time, like, I'm not that smart. I literally, until, years later, I had someone else reaffirming me, wow, you're really, you're really intelligent. And it was kind of like, oh, she's wrong. It's like I had a memory replacement, like I had a memory transplant. I don't know how else to put it.
That's right.
But I'd love to hear from you because, again, I've experienced this so deeply in my life, both in, my own health and professional success, my mom and her healing from cancer, all these different things. Talk to me a little bit about sort of how we engineer these people today that are listening to this and they've got a disease or they've got a negative complex. How do we overcome that?
Yeah. First of all, you very well may not know you have it. You may just think that you don't feel great or you don't have much energy or something like that. Depression and anxiety, let's just take those two. If you take depression and anxiety together, and you should, because they usually go together, everyone who's depressed has anxiety. A high percentage of those who have anxiety also have some depression. You're talking 1 in 2 people, okay? When you include the people that would not qualify for a formal diagnosis, but they still have anxiety or depression that is holding them back in their lives, you're talking 1 in 2 people, okay? Of those 1 in 2 people, less than 1 out of 3 of them ever gets any help at all for the underlying thing causing that. Less than 1 in 3. Of the one that does get help based on statistics, less than 10% of those, once the help is done and finished, less than 10% say the help was any help. In other words, 90% say the help was not effective. The help didn't help me any, okay? So we've got an epidemic of anxiety and depression, when taken together, are the biggest issue on the planet. A few years ago, Dr. Irving Kirsch from Harvard Medical School comes out on 60 Minutes and says, Leslie, he's being interviewed by Leslie Stahl, Leslie, antidepressants don't work, and suggests that we should start prescribing placebos because they work just as well without the side effects. Well, there's a reason these things don't work, and it's basically this. You don't brush your teeth with a lug wrench, okay? You don't change your tire with a toothbrush. We all know, okay, I got to fix this thing on the doorknob. I need a screwdriver. Okay, Phillips or flat? Phillips. All right, okay. And with that, I can fix the doorknob. Yeah. But if I try to fix the doorknob, with a water bottle or something, forget it, and everybody's going to be laughing at me, all right? It just won't work. Well, these memories are made of energy. They've cut out every part of the brain, and the memories are still there. That's why Southwestern said we're naming them cellular memories, because they're in cells all over the body, not just in the brain. And let me give you some idea how absolutely life or death critical this is, even though nobody knows it. Scientific American recently came out with a major story, very highly regarded journal, Scientific American. They don't do sleazy stuff. They only do it if it's really good research by credible people, etc. And what they found was so staggering, Josh, that the researchers that made this breakthrough discovery seriously talked among themselves about, for the good of humanity, it might be best for us to bury this and never let anybody know the truth. Now, if you know anything about researchers, you know how crazy it is, because getting a major published thing, that's their winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. That they get a raise, they get an award, they get a medal around their neck, they get, they would never consider that. So how come about this one study, they're saying, you know what? Maybe for the good of humanity, we should just bury this, because what they found, Josh, is that our memories are so full of lies and errors. And this is a direct quote from that Scientific American article, which I've got right here. Because they're so full of lies and errors, virtually every one of them, it would be more accurate to call them illusions than it would memories. But those illusions are the programming that form the beliefs on which we do everything.
Wow.
Let me tie one other thing, then I'll shut up for a second. Maybe you're thinking, okay, but that's just one article. That's just one research thing. No. Have you ever heard of National Geographic?
Yeah.
All right. National Geographic a couple of years ago came out with a special edition, and it was called The Owner's Manual for the Brain. You can still find this online and pay to have the old issue sent to you. The premier study for this special edition was this. It was a research study where the scientists and researchers discovered that approximately 1 second before you make a significant decision in your life. Now, that didn't have to be this career or that career. It doesn't have to be that significant. Just maybe, I want a turkey or a salad for lunch. That's significant enough. But approximately 1 second before making any significant decision, there is an electrical spike in your brain. It took them years, but they followed back the electrical spike and found out where it was coming from and what it was. The electrical spike is your unconscious mind mandating what your decision will be. And that's what those Scientific American researchers were faced with. The reason they thought maybe we shouldn't release this is they thought if people read this research and see the way it really is, they may give up. They may be hopeless. They may feel, hey, I'm just a puppet on a string. Doesn't matter what I do anyway. It's all based on the memories passed down that have all these errors in them, like a computer virus. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay? And they literally thought it could spawn a hopeless giving up movement all over the world. Well, that's how big a deal your memories are. They are your primary programming for everything you